OMG, the ish has hit the fan. So much is going on in Boston right now in City on the Hill, and we are going to talk about it. City on the Hill, episode 9. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
It's not
as you'd
great.
expect.
We're talking about Fall River. Shout out to the people from Fall River. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I am Nakia, Monet, and welcome to the City on the Hill after show. And this is episode 9, and we have one more episode left, but I am not here by myself. I'm joined by my lovely co-host.
I'm very excited. I'm Jandreau, and I'm thinking the show is wicked smart.
Hey, Boston's in the house.
Very excited.
Bean Town.
It's been a bit. We did it was the second episode, our first together.
Yeah.
And then Comic-Con and life and all that stuff happened in a hurry.
And it went by so fast.
And all of a sudden, like, that was 6 weeks ago.
Isn't that crazy?
Like, when I looked at the actual date, that was 6 weeks ago. That's
I feel
crazy.
like we just started the show.
I feel like I just saw you 2 weeks ago. Like,
Right.
like 2, not 6.
Because we had like Comic-Con, we had live, we had work, like all this craziness in between. And I'm like, damn, it feels like episode 1 just started, but we're on episode 9.
Next week's over.
Next week,
And a 10-week show is not short. It's 2.5 months of our lives have gone by.
And these episodes are an hour?
Yeah.
It's a long ass
10
show.
hours of life. And somehow it's like 2, suddenly it's 9.
Oh my God, guys. Like we just said, it's episode 9. Next week is the last episode, season finale. I'm interested to see how this is going to go forward. If it does get picked up, if Ben Affleck or Matt Damon intended for this to be picked up, or they're going to switch it up. I'm really interested to see how they're going to do it. But episode 9 was a doozy. Before we jump in, what's your overall thoughts on episode 9?
9's one of my favorite episodes.
Same.
I'd say like 1 and 2 were at the same caliber as this 9. Like that level they're playing with. There was some middle episodes we were talking right before air that I feel like it should have been a really tight 8, and I feel like they could have made all the episodes had important scenes. You couldn't cut a single episode, but there could have been scenes cut that consolidate. But 9 was there was no fluff.
This was the
nothing
best
extra in here.
Episode, because I mean last week at the end, obviously when Jackie kills Clay, you're on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, that was a great
because
cliffhanger.
Jackie's a horrible person, but you're like, oh, it's Jackie.
But compared, like Clay is an actual monster.
I know,
So
which is
how do you make more of a monster than Jackie? You got Clay.
Exactly. So let's just get into it. So we open up with a scene where Jackie is burning his clothes, and as an FBI agent, you are pretty smart, and you put the gun in the hand of the person that you killed to pretend that it is a suicide. My question for you, because Jackie is coming from this as a father.
Yeah.
His daughter Benny was assaulted. She was raped. She was abused. Like Clay did all these horrible things to this girl, and being the relationship that he has with Jackie, Jackie's not too happy about it. And I definitely think Jackie reacted off of emotion. When you seen that, what were your thoughts? Were you like, great?
Deserved it.
Okay, good.
There was no remorse. There was no. I was surprised he was as restrained as he was. Like he got the confession out of him.
Yeah.
And he got the moment as a father acknowledging that it was about to happen. And I love that he shot him in the mouth. I loved every bit of that was deserved, and I liked that he knew he was going to die. From the acting standpoint, I liked that Clay knew he was going to die, so he got his last like fuck you. Boop. And then Kevin Bacon on the other side, there's no coming back from that. And the scene with him and his daughter, that was so much power, and it was him apologizing because now he knows it's his fault. That wouldn't have happened to his daughter if it wasn't for all the choices Kevin Bacon's made.
Exactly.
So it was a beautiful, horrible arc.
I agree with you. He deserved everything like that happened to Clay. As a parent, you're like, great. But you're right. Now Kevin Bacon, aka Jackie. I'm like, Kevin has to now. Sorry, Kevin Bacon. Jackie Roar.
I keep calling him Kevin.
Has to live with the fact that this is pretty much his fault, and that's why he comes and he tells Jenny like she can go to the program and do her thing. But Rachel discovers Clay's body. I don't know if it's weeks, days. That is disgusting. Flies. She discovers the body, but you know, Rachel being the smart woman that she is, she's already investigating because she has Michaela's book. So she's been kind of doing her own investigation on Jackie because she knows Jackie is corrupt. He's evil. So in her mind, because she approaches Salvi, went to Michaela to give her some names. She, I think in the back of her mind, believes that it's Jackie, or Jackie has something to do with this, because she says, how does a paid informant who's supposed to be protected kill himself? And I like how she knew. She's like, his mouth, his teeth are all gone, so that's like someone shooting you. And I like what she tells Hank, she's like, it smells like blue polyester all over it. I think that's what she said. So do you think that she
she knows
that it's Jackie?
Yeah, she's just waiting for proof. She's just like, she's a smart cop. She knows. She's looking for evidence. She's been tracking him for a reason. She said he was a felon like 3 episodes ago.
Yes.
Like I definitely think that she's one of the smarter characters on the show. Also, like we talked about on our episode 2, whenever it was, about how we thought the show was going to end with all the female characters being in positions of power because they set them up to be like not taking any of this anymore. We're seeing a divorce. Mm-hmm. We're seeing her now basically tracking. She's going to take him out in the last episode.
Exactly.
We're seeing all those things. We called episode 2. Just give us some credit.
We said it.
I love that we are seeing these characters do them in smart ways and in not ways we guessed. Yeah. We guessed how it would end, but none of the seeds they planted I would have guessed would have went this way.
Never.
You know what I mean?
And you're absolutely right. Like the women, we got some badass women on the show, from Decourcey's wife to Frankie's wife. Badass. Yeah. Frankie's mom. Like the fact that they all are in a plan. I'm like, wait, what type of family like dinner
Jackie's
is this?
mom.
Jackie's mom. Like,
or mother-in-law. Mother-in-law.
I guess. She's one of my favorite characters.
She's the boss of the whole show. Like everyone has weaknesses that we've seen except for her.
She is literally badass. She's like, I don't care. You're horrible. Even to her daughter, like, look in the mirror, girl, because it's all your fault. So the family that we were speaking of, you were just talking about this before the mics went on. This is a show where you kind of feel for the bad guys.
So I struggled with this
Let's
episode.
talk about this.
I gotta say this. I gotta be, because it's gonna change the rest of my commentary, so I gotta come out clear.
Yes.
I don't know, and I hope they're doing it on purpose. I didn't feel for any of the cops, and in the beginning of the show, I was like, they're doing a really good job balancing how much I care about the criminals, how much I care about the cops.
Yes.
Now I just care about Jonathan Tucker's family.
Isn't it crazy?
Decourcey to like a 70%.
Yeah.
And then is Frankie Ryan? Is that John Tucker's show?
Yep, Frankie.
Frankie Ryan and his family, 95%. The cops, 10%.
Exactly.
So it's not as balanced as I thought it started, and I hope that's intentional. I hope episode 10 is like something happens, but if it ends with one of those dark endings where it's just the good guy criminals we like go to jail because the system, and like it's going to be really upsetting.
It is, and I'm agreeing with you. It's where the writers have done such a good job where you feel for the bad guys, you feel for the families, and I think that's because they opened the door because we got to see Frankie's kids and Jimmy and why he's the way he is and the love of his life, and her saying I'm actually engaged and how he's heartbroken, but he's also heartbroken because he's snitching on his own brother and trying to kill himself. Mom and dad, like everyone's in the plan. And Decourcey a little bit because you get to see him and his wife a little bit, so you do feel for them. But you're right.
And Decourcey, I like that his back's against the wall and he never backs down.
And that's what I like.
He's not the underdog like the criminals are. He's the underdog in the other side of the system.
He is.
So I like that. So
you feel for him, but the bad guys, you're kind of like, oh God, I don't want them to go get killed. So to see even like Jimmy struggling to distract everyone pretty much because he's trying to kill himself because he's like, all right, I effed up. This is all over.
What does he have left?
Like it is what it is. It's crazy. So Frankie is obviously buying guns for his next heist because he wants to go through with it, and Jimmy's trying to talk him out of it because obviously Jimmy has been ratting on his brother. Yeah. And poor Jimmy tries to kill himself, and Dad walks in and he's like, bruh, come on.
Yeah.
This is not a good look. But what I love about this family, not for Jimmy's sake, but they say, you know what? This is not good for the heist.
Yeah.
Not for Jimmy, who's trying to kill himself. They
for the heist.
This isn't a good look for the heist. What were all your feels and emotions like seeing Jimmy in this kind of situation?
Well, we've seen Jimmy broken before. We haven't seen him this low. We've seen him close to this low. He's stayed this low. Like, that's been his whole arc. Is he's always... But he hasn't been necessarily likable. A lot of the episodes, I'm like, kind of deserve it. And I've actually felt more for Frankie by way of having to deal with Jimmy. This is the first episode where I felt for Jimmy in a way that I hadn't yet, and I started to empathize a little bit. Yeah. And it's interesting because they played with my heartstrings in the episode where he rats out his brother. So I don't know if it's still that, like, me being a fan of Jonathan Tucker bias, but the whole time I'm like, Frankie's the only good character on this, like, good, not good actor, like, good character, like, Frankie's the only one that's making all the smart decisions, and he's the only one playing from a place of heart.
I was about to say, you can see the heart in Frankie, and
every choice.
You're absolutely right. Like, Jimmy's someone who you don't really care for. Yeah. And you can tell in the family, he's also the person because he kind of competes with his brother when mom is let out of the hospital, and he's like, great, you would go. And she's like, it's not a competition. So you can tell he's always been in his big brother's shadow, but you see the heart in Frankie. You see why he's doing what he's doing. He has kids to feed.
The one time he's immature, you understand where he's coming from.
Exactly.
And I love the scene scene of him and his brother kicking the crap out of that guy at the convenience store. And that's the one time you see him be more like his brother, but you understand completely all the pressure that led to that.
Oh God, the writers did such a good job, because I'm like, wait, am I feeling bad for the bad people?
Yeah, I don't know who's. I don't consider them the bad people.
Like, who's actually bad here?
And once again, I don't know if that's my Boston bias of being, aware of police, or that's coming from a place of the writers, because the police are not doing anything out of their protocol except for Roar, who is also being hunted by the police.
Exactly. I think it could be both, because we also see in their crew they have that Boston police officer who pretends, we'll get into it, but he's been running with them, and he's a Boston cop, and he's pulling off heists.
And then he pretends he had the cuffs with him.
I'm a hostage. Boy, sit your ass down.
I hope they catch him in 10. If he gets away with it,
I hope they get his ass. But we see how crooked the police are. We see Jackie, FBI agent. We see Salvi, who now wants to retire because he's like, okay,
I don't have judgment anymore. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what this is. But if the only good character is the one that falls for everything, I'm going to be so upset at the 10 hours I spent being upset.
I know.
That's my only concern, is the only guy in the police car that isn't suicidal is my boy John Tucker.
Listen. I don't know. I'm really interested. And then when we do predictions, we can talk about it, because I'm interested to see how episode 10 is going to go. Because episode 9, they have me like wrapped around their finger, and I'm super emotional right now. And I'm like, okay, who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Jackie's FBI, but he's considered a bad guy. So it's like the cops are trying to get the so-called bad guys, but also the bad guys inside of their...
Do you think Jonathan Tucker, do you think the Ryans are able to get out of it because of something that Roar does wrong?
I think so.
Because he would be the only unreliable, and they've made him unreliable this whole time.
The only thing is because they've been talking about Kaniki.
Kaniki, yeah.
Who they obviously killed.
Right.
I don't know if like Kaniki's wife, or someone's going to, not Kaniki's wife, Sheen's wife, or someone's going to rat that out, because they've been looking for Kaniki's body for a really long time. Or even Little Kick. I do think Jackie's going to F up something, and I don't know what it is, but I feel like either they're going to take the attention off of the Ryans and it's going to go to Jackie, because they're trying to get Jackie, especially Rachel.
Right.
And I'm here for it, because Jackie got to go.
He's got to go. He's not going to make it to the 10th episode.
He's not.
There's no way.
He's not. And speaking about Jackie, Jenny, his beautiful wife.
Yeah, she's incredible.
She's amazing. She's strong. Not only does she have to be a mother to her daughter, who doesn't really like her too much, but also going through trauma and abuse of something that happened, she now says that she wants to divorce Jackie.
The airplanes? When we find out the airplanes, can we talk about the airplanes?
So... wow. Okay, it makes perfect sense. So Jenny, as she's talking to her friends, she kind of like scoffs a lot when her dad's brought up, and I didn't understand why. I thought dad just cheated on mom, alcoholic, but we found out that her father raped her. I believe she got pregnant, and
that she's been with 2 men. One of them like. Whoa.
And when she said her mother drove her to get the abortion.
To make sure it was temporary, like make sure that didn't, it was this episode was, this show's dark, but this episode was like, God, not 8 and 9, because 8 was the brutal, the scene with the heroin and that little girl and those guys, like that was hard to watch.
That was horrible. And I love it, but it's horrible. So just to go from that to this and have Jenny, because she's going through because her husband's horrible to her. There's a woman knocking on her door saying, I'm pregnant. And I've been effing your husband.
She's dropping out of college that she was so proud to go to. She's got that one little like puppy dog of a guy trying to get with her.
Who's in love with her.
Yeah.
His name, is it DJ? I think I wrote his name down.
He's new. I'm sorry, DJ.
Sorry, DJ. And then we found out that her father was abusing her when she was a young girl, because she says when her mother dies, she's throwing away the planes.
And then it sets up that she was looking at the planes to distract her. That was so...
Oh my. So to go through that and to have a shitty husband like Jackie Roar, like she said, I've been with 2 guys, but they've never treated me well.
Yeah.
I just feel for her.
And that kind of abuse, you'd end up with like tolerating somebody like Jackie for 20 years.
Exactly.
That human brains are weird with the way we function, the way we handle things. Like that trauma, it makes sense that she's dealt with Jackie for so long.
Exactly.
And now she's just trying to grow up and glow up. Like she's just trying to be a better one.
I know.
And it's really weird how the only characters in this show that are surviving are the quote unquote bad guys, but there's only 1 episode left to resolve all of these. There's a lot to resolve in 1 episode.
I know. I feel like next week we're going to all have a panic attack.
Oh, it's going to be so anxiety.
Because we're going to be like, what's happening? Because we have to resolve so many issues next week. And I'm really excited to see like if the show's going to get picked up, because I'm like, wait, so are we getting Jackie Roar? What's happening to the Ryans? Poor Jenny. Like what like
Decourcey and his wife.
Right.
Is it the kind of show that plans to end after 10, or is it the kind of show that is like, would we even get a 1993 City in the Hill, because this is 92?
I want to know.
Is this something that carries on, or is it the kind of show that we go back to the 80s or the 70s and we just go through Boston crime?
Exactly. And because when the show opens up, they open up with a real life crime. The man who kills his wife blames it on the black guy, but they open the show like that, and then it goes into the Ryans doing in the heist.
Right.
So you're right. Like, I would love to know if they're going to pick up another crime that happened in
plenty of
Boston.
crime.
There's a lot of crime happening in Boston.
2019 edition.
Come
Go to the
on,
casino,
like,
see what's up.
Listen, I would love to see it. This show is an incredible show. So our guy Jimmy, you know, going through a lot right now. He's confused. He's like, I'm riding on my brother. There's nothing to really live for. Trying to kill myself. And he gets caught breaking into the car.
Yeah.
But in a way, I feel like he purposely, it's like, you know, when people get tired of doing something, they want to get caught and they want to do something.
They do something loud.
So of course he's sitting across from Decourcey and he's like, look, if you let me go and hijack this car, there's another heist that's happening. At that moment, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What the hell?
He's such a rat. It's so hard for me because it's such good writing. The only character we fully care about is his brother. So the only,
of course.
if he was the brother to any other character, we wouldn't have been nearly as in that whole scene. And Decourcey, we want to succeed. So in order for him to succeed, we've got to lose Frankie. But
I know, it's crazy. It's like Frankie, you care about. Decourcey, you care because you're right. They're two underdogs, two different type of underdogs. Yeah. One is on the other side, but he's his own underdog, like in the legal system.
Right.
And then Frankie just comes from shit.
And at the
you
end
feel
of the day,
for him.
Decourcy's level of underdog is still living in a penthouse. He's just an underdog because of society, and he's an underdog because of his situations.
Exactly.
Whereas Frankie's a legit underdog working at a grocery store as a
Their
cover.
hot water is cut off.
Yeah, like you want that guy to if he made a tenth of the money that Decourcey might be making, that'd be a different conversation. And then Decourcy's just trying to fix all of Boston.
I know.
And societal stuff. Like this was the early 90s where you know, having him as a mayor would be a great thing.
It'd be amazing. And not only Decourcey is a lawyer, his wife's a lawyer. Right. So you have like two lawyers just trying to fix Boston, just trying to fix what it's like to work at, you know, his job because it's tough for him. But Frankie and his family, like their water's cut off. His daughter's having nightmares because she obviously witnessed a murder. And they're sitting on a therapy, but she's drawing now.
What are those squids?
And like, come on.
What are those squid people?
The therapist is like, what's up? Like, what are we doing?
I see something happened.
So Kathy's getting a little freaked out, and I think everything's closing in on the Ryan family. So long and behold, like,
there's one episode left, but there's only one left.
Episode left.
So we got to solve what's going to happen with Jackie.
Yes.
We got to solve what's going to happen with his wife because she's got 100 things going on.
Yep.
We've got Frankie, Ryan's wife. We've got Frankie and Jimmy. We've got Decourcey and his wife, and his wife's trying to put him back together.
Yep.
We've got the police that just died and then solving all the police stuff. We've got the investigation from the police onto Jackie.
Yes.
So what, 8?
8.
At least 8. That's just off the top of my head.
And if Michaela wakes up, that's her opening up and saying, like, I know something, and Rachel working on it.
Yeah.
So long and behold, Jimmy, you know, Jimmy's now working with the cops and not in the FBI, and the FBI stops them from breaking the heist and getting into that heist. And it's a showdown where we have a Boston police officer who's part of this new crew, because their thing was they were going to frame a whole nother crew.
Yeah.
They were going to get this money. Jimmy's like, bro, he's trying to distract them. And there's a shoot off and our guy Hank dies.
Hank dies.
I felt a little way because they humanized Hank a little bit in this
whole episode. I noticed they said his name like 5 more times.
Yes.
And they also made sure that the whole episode they were making him a little more likable, and they also grabbed that last scene of them in the car when he made the poop joke. I was like, oh no, it's a poop joke.
Like, he's gonna
Homie's
die.
Dead. Like if you make a humanizing joke like that, it's probably your end of days.
Yeah, and then when he talked about him fighting his principal and all this, I'm like, okay, something is going to happen, and I'm nervous. So as they're going out, and Jackie's nosy ass finds out what's happening because they've been trying to ice Jackie out because they know he's crooked and they don't want him to even touch this.
Yeah.
But Jackie beats them to it and kind of helps them with this.
He does, but did he help really?
Not really, because
he accelerated it.
He did it so that he wouldn't pretty much get in trouble, because now he's been working with Jimmy.
Right.
So now God forbid, is he going to kill Jimmy now? Because if Jimmy says, I actually been working with Jackie.
Yeah. But he's going to play the I'm a Fed and he's a rat. But if we have all the evidence from her investigations, then maybe that'll be how Jimmy proves that it...
This is insane.
There's a lot. And so we have at least 9 plot lines that need to get solved in 60 minutes.
This is insane. But I do like that Decourcey tells Jackie, like, you're no hero. Like, I'm on to you. You are not a hero. And Kevin Bacon is such an amazing actor. He's such an asshole in this episode.
Oh, he's such a monster.
He's like, oh, what do you mean?
Just doing my job like everybody. Put my pants on one leg at a time like everybody else. Like,
I'm like, this guy is insane. So now the Ryan brothers are in jail. Kathy does not know what to do with herself because now she's also a part of this.
Right.
So now
they're raiding her house.
They're raiding her house. Kids are there. She has to worry about if Jimmy's going to throw her under the bus.
That last line.
So can we just talk about Little Kick?
That was one of my favorite moments of the series.
One of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
This poor little girl has been going through so much. She's obviously going through trauma and PTSD because she witnessed something, but she also knew something was up when her mother picked her up from school.
Yeah.
And when she seen how nervous she was, and I love when Jackie roared. It's like two of my favorite characters. You have Big Jackie trying to talk to her, but being an a-hole, and I love that she looks at him at 10 years old, and excuse my language, but she says, "Fuck you."
And that's it. And that was all she gave him after he gave like a monologue. He gave a speech and she's just dead-eyed.
But you know what I love he says after that? "You'll be fine."
Black.
Like, Jackie, you're an a-hole.
But he knows what it takes. He knows what it takes to be in the city, you know? Like, he set her, she's going to succeed, and he's not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. He's like, you'll be fine, kid. I'm like, yo, you need all the awards, Kevin. But that was such an amazing scene. And now we have one more episode left.
Next Sunday, it's in. And I don't know. I love that we didn't hear about a season 2. I love that we don't know what type of show it is. I don't know if it's an anthology show or if it's everything's open next.
It's just there.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to touch on?
Let's see.
It was such a good episode. I love Jenny's mom's quote to her. She's like, "You want to blame somebody?
Look in the
mirror." But then when you find out that she was raped by her dad and her mom, I'm like, all right, Mom.
As soon as you get another episode into thinking you like somebody, you find out a thing about their past, and you're like,
your heart
nope.
out.
I gotta say, one thing from this episode I really liked we didn't talk about was the heist setup. I really liked how clever it was.
It was really smart.
I like that they were like, Charlestown always gets blamed because it does.
It does.
Charlestown in real life is the most bank robberies per capita per mile of anywhere in the world. Not the country, not the state, the world.
Isn't that crazy?
Charleston, still. And I love that. It's just, why do you just go to Charleston?
Charleston's like this big.
It's this big.
Still.
Why are there banks there?
Why are you guys not honing in on this?
Inconvenience the 1,000 people that live there by making them drive to. I don't know what they can do. I'm not a politician, but it's crazy that it's still. So they know that, and they blame Charleston by planting hair, and they have this whole setup, and it would have gotten away with it, and it would have put them off the trail that the cops were on.
Smart.
I loved how many checks they had. Like they covered this base. I loved how smart Frankie is.
Yeah.
And Jimmy's just from the beginning been a problem, and of course. Love
it
that
just
scene.
reminds me of like a Boston, New Jack City. I don't know if you've ever seen New Jack City, where big brother Wesley Snipes' little brother's messing up on drugs, and he says to his brother, like, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And he kills his brother. So I wonder if it's like one of those things where, because as I'm watching them, I'm like, damn, this reminds me of New Jack City.
I totally see that.
Like, big brother has to, little brother's just always effing up. And at the end, I have to off my little brother because he's making it hot for me. I love you to death, but you gotta go.
And that's a similar character that Jonathan Tucker played in Black Donnelly's, that show I was talking about. He's just taking care of all of his brothers. And and remember that first episode, I was like, this reminds me a lot of that. Now, 9 episodes later.
Come on. So when he looks at him in the car, I'm like, oh God, I feel like he's gonna kill Jimmy.
He's got to.
It's Am I my brother's keeper? And if you guys are in the chat, let us know if you've ever seen New Jack City.
If you haven't. It's Wesley Snipes.
One of the best movies. Yeah. Because if you watch that and then watch Tu Wong Fu, where he's a drag queen with Patrick Swayze, you're like, great actor.
Just watch Wesley Snipes' filmography and just understand cinema better, because he went from Tu Wong Fu to Blade in like 15 years.
It was insane.
White Men Can't Jump happened in between.
Classic.
Like, there's so much good Wesley Snipes.
And then you have him New Jack City, Nino Brown, where he's this horrible person. So that brother dynamic reminded me of New Jack City. So now I also love this episode because we get to hear old Rakim. And
the music in this episode is some of the best. There was 3 songs, I think, and all 3 of them I was like, early 90s was so good.
So good. It was like classics, but it made you, I felt like I was on that heist with them. Because they're in the car.
Because the music back then put you in a storyline.
Yes.
The music back then brought you on a journey because it was telling you through poetry what they were feeling. Music now is trying to biochemically alter your heartbeat so you care enough like an earworm.
And that's why I still listen to music from the 90s, because I can't take it.
There's like 1 out of 5 artists now, but back then it was 4 out of 5.
It was, and we great storytellers, and if no one knows it's the anniversary of hip hop. 46 years ago, hip hop came out. So being in this episode in 92 and listening to that, I felt the emotion of like Jimmy driving his car, or them on that heist, and just Frankie's straight face, and you're hearing Rakim blast, and I'm like, I'm on the heist with them.
And that puts you not only in the place, but also the time. And that's something you can still listen to really good hip hop and feel. Like Tupac to this day still makes you feel like the late 80s, early 90s, and it still is true and relevant.
Exactly.
But I almost guarantee in 20 years we're not going to listen to 2019 hip hop, most of it.
We're going to go
like
back to the 90s and listen to.
Because right now we're not talking about
No.
And even if this wasn't a period piece, I'd say 1 out of 5 is great. So 20% hip hop now is solid. But back then, I'd say it was like 4 out of 5.
And I feel like any movie, any show you put on, they're putting on the classics. It's nothing today. So to hear that and to see all this, it definitely gave me chills. I was like, God damn, this was a really good episode.
I think when they make period pieces about now, we'll have like Kendrick and J. Cole, and there'll be some stuff.
Exactly.
But it's different even that. The storytelling's different, and the way people shape music now is to get it like an addiction where you want to hear the song again. Whereas I feel like then you were finished. It's kind of like movies.
It is.
Movies right now, they want you to watch the next in the franchise. So I feel like songs right now, they want you to just have it stuck in your head. Hip hop back then used to have a 3-act structure. So when the song finished, you felt completed. You felt like it was a whole experience.
I love it. We're just turning this into a hip hop show.
Last time we talked about Boston, now it's hip hop.
Boston hip hop, we love it.
We appreciate it. And City of the Hill gives us all of that.
It really does. And this is nostalgic because we're from Boston.
Yeah.
And last episode they mentioned Chelsea, so I got really excited because that's my home. I'm from New York, grew up in Chelsea. No one ever mentions Chelsea ever. So when I heard it, I got excited. We have Charlestown today, Fall River. I thought it was pretty dope. What an amazing effing episode.
I love this episode. I would take out nothing. I would change nothing. The acting was top notch. The pacing was great. I was fully invested. They not only closed a lot of doors, but they opened enough that I don't know how it's going to end with episode 10. That's an impressive writing feat.
Yeah.
And directing wise, like you said, it felt like you were on the heist. You were invested with what, 4? I'd say 4 to 5 solid storylines.
Yeah.
They have a lot going on this episode.
It was a lot. So shall we get into predictions to see what's coming up? Let's do some predictions on City on the Hill.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, guys. Episode 10, season finale. What are your predictions?
Jackie's dying.
Jackie's dying.
I think Jackie's out.
It's out.
I think Jackie's got to go. I think somehow, and this might just be blind optimism, Frankie gets out.
I think so too.
I think somehow. I don't know how, but I want Frankie somehow.
I agree with you. I think Decourcey, because they have so much hate for Jackie as well.
Yeah.
And they want to see Jackie go down. I think they're going to work with the Ryan brothers to try to get Jackie out of here.
Yeah.
And it's either going to be Jenny that's going to kill Jackie, somebody killing Jackie, or Jackie's going to jail. And I think the Ryan brothers and the U.S. Attorney Office is going to team up. Mm-hmm. And I think this is going to give them a get out of jail free card. You're on probation. Yeah. We're going to watch you.
Go back to the grocery store.
And I do think Jimmy is going to die as well.
Yeah, I think it's
because he's just doing the most, and I feel like his brother might take him out.
And I think Jenny gets redemption.
I think she does too.
I think there's something good in her future. I think we see some good happen to her in the next episode. I think the Ryans get some absolution. I think Jenny gets some closure and some positivity.
Yes, I love Jenny. I just want something good for her because
she needs something.
I feel bad.
And I think Decourcey gets Decourcey gets a better position.
I think so too. Like I think his boss will actually respect him and be like, "Okay, you did a good job."
Oh, and the priest.
The priest
wasn't even in this episode. What happens with the priest next episode?
There's so many
10 things got to get wrapped up.
Storylines.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the priest for a minute.
Okay, totally forgot about that.
That's got to happen next episode.
Fam.
Yeah, it's like next episode. It's gonna be serious. Strap in for the AfterBuzz show next week because we got to cover a lot.
I feel like I need to bring wine for us.
Yeah, well,
to get through this episode.
Depends on the music, though. Like
that is true because if we're getting like Rakim again, or some like hip hop,
some Old English.
Come on, maybe some Old English, some Boston. We do Boston style.
Oh yeah, like Old English or Cobra. I think Cobra was my shit back in the Boston. That was like it's like a green 40.
I remember
and
those.
It tasted warm even when it was cold.
I remember those. We have to do it up. If you guys are in the chat or watching this, please let us know your predictions for episode 10 in the season finale. Who do you think is going to make it? We don't think Jackie's lasting very long, but I do think Kevin Bacon is going to win some awards because this was
incredible in this.
If no one's watching this, my coworker, short story, she's also from Boston, and one day I was like, God, you got to watch this show. She's from Roxbury.
Oh yeah.
I was like, it's about our hometown, and she's obsessed with the show too.
Good.
So shout out to the Bostonians.
Yeah. I'm getting my girl Roxy. She's here all the time. She's going to start it once it ends so she can watch it all. So she'll be joining us.
Way to see it.
It was nice to watch 4 in a row, I'm not gonna lie. I had a good time having them. Yeah, exactly.
All right, kids. I'm excited for next week.
Yeah.
I'm excited to come back in here, but before we go, let everyone know where they can find you at.
You can hunt me down on Twitter and Instagram at CoyJandreau and tell me what you think of the show.
You guys can find me on social media at Kiki Boom Boom. Guys, make sure you guys come back next week because it is the season finale of City on the Hill. Our minds are going to be blown, so come back, come chat with us, and we'll talk all about it next week. Bye! Oh my God,
You're
what an
tuned in to
episode.
our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the... You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz... Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it.